300 series multi-mapping is finally here. We have a 300 series behind us. We're going to jump in and I'm going to go through step by step on how it all works to give you guys a full explanation on what it does. Okay, so now we're in the car. We're just going to run through some of the multi-mapping functions, what every individual map does, and sort of the most frequent asked questions that we get asked. So we're going to start off with the fact that it is cruise control. So your cruise control switch that you're using for resume and set will change the maps up and down. Correspondingly, you'll see the display of what map you're on displayed on the tacho for a brief second before it will revert back to being the output of what the tacho is showing you as far as RPM goes. So first of all, we're going to start with zero. Zero is our immobilizer. If you have the car running and you're stopped, I've got the car in park at the moment, and to give you an example, we're going into the shopping centre or you're at a hotel or you just want to make sure the car is very secure, we can flick the car down to immobilizer, and now the car just stopped like it did. If I were to jump in the car without doing anything at all and try to start the car will crank, it'll fire for 1 second then turn off, and it will not start. The only thing that will make this car start is if you take it out of the immobilizer, and how you do that is literally click up the resume button to the next corresponding map, and then next minute car will start and it'll run normal. So the thing is here is that the immobilizer is a function that is great, because no matter what bit of gear you have, unless you change that table of that map, the car won't start. So therefore, you know, it's a very good theft thing. So the other thing about the immobilizer is that people ask is, if we're driving on the road and I accidentally select the immobilizer, will the car turn off? And the answer to that is no. You can't select the immobilizer as the car's running. The car has to be in a stationary position before you can turn the immobilizer on. The next map we're going to go into is map 1. Map 1 is our high idle. So as you can see now, the idles come up to around 1400 RPM. This map is literally what I would use for charging batteries. If you're like me, I don't really have dual batteries, but I tend to run a fridge, and when I go camping, I'm using my start battery. I know it's not ideal, but it's great for the fact that I can run that fridge all day, all night. I get up in the morning, I have my car running around 1400 RPM for about half an hour, and I get that battery to come up in charge, which is awesome. So that's what I use it for. It's also good if you're winching and you need that voltage to be up there. Having that RPM set there is a good thing. Once you roll off at 3 kilometers an hour, above 3 kilometers an hour, your set RPM at 1400 RPM is now going to drop down to run to a different idle, which is called what we call rolling idle, and it will stay on that map until you come under 3 kilometers an hour again, and then it will go back up to 1500. So that's the functionality of that particular map. As you're driving along also, and say you're leaving in that map, your power will be around stock. It's not going to give you much power if you're in that mode, but that's what you have with that mode 1 with the idle up. Then we're going to go into map 2. Map 2 is what we call stock plus. The two reasons why we call it stock plus is that it's running stock boost levels. Fueling's very similar to stock. There is changes in there that we've kept, like timing and so forth, to try and get efficiency. And this is where we believe that between this and possibly your tow tune is where you're going to get your best consumption. It's one of those ones where you can sort of switch between the two as you're driving and really work out what sort of suits you and how to maximize that fuel consumption. So it's a good one. You can drive on any of the maps whenever you want. There's no ruling around that, but that's just something that we find that we've been working and trialing different things for consumption, and that's sort of a pretty good happy medium. Switching up to map 3. Map 3 is what we call our tow tune. Now, our tow tune in this car is very unique. We did a video on it about understanding how the sequential turbo works with turbo surge. We are running this car off 1 turbo in this mode. This gives us the ability to have a huge amount of torque, low down grunt, and travel by towing large amounts. For example, we tow a 3.5 ton Jayco caravan at the moment, very loaded, and we can sit there and tow around that 1800 RPM with all the torque in the world. We're producing around about 60 50 to 100 Newton meters more torque than factory does in this area, and we're allowing to push that turbo out right out to the end of the rev range, and that allows us to have a fairly linear torque curve. It won't make any more torque than that or any more power because we're not bringing the second turbo in, but however, it eliminates any surging, any flat spots, any hesitation, any of that, and it's really, really good for towing. I'm surprised by how well these cars do tow in that mode. So it's something that we solve a lot of issues with that. We've contemplated so many different scenarios, and this is where we've ended up being in the right position with this map and how it works. The next one we have, and we're starting to get into our high power levels now, is in map 4. So when we go into map 4, it's our highest power level. We're obviously bringing the two turbos on together. It's going to make, roughly another 100 or so more horsepower and about a couple hundred Newton meters more torque. It's definitely the map that's got a lot more grunt about it. Switching into this map as you're driving, you're going to notice a huge difference. The second turbo comes in, it's got huge amounts of torque there. Getting close to that 1000 Newton meter mark, it's going to be very aggressive, and it is quite fun to drive. It's quite amazing that such a small little engine can produce so much power. You can drive on this map wherever you want. This map, we find that I tend to drive on this a lot. I even tow in this map. I prefer that. I like having all that power. But it's this is a great thing about the multi-mapping, is you can switch and change whenever you want on the fly to however your driving style is, and you've got that option really easily to be made. Next one is our final map, and it's our map 5. And as you can tell, we put in map 5. The car's got a lumpy idle at the moment. It's a little bit of a fun feature that, it's really funny. Most people say it's, they don't like it, whatever, but we get a lot of older guys come in, and believe it or not, they all puts a smile on their face. It's something that's a little bit gimmicky, but, look, it's all about fun. The difference with this map is that we have lumpy idle, but also if we bring the revs up on the converter, we have launch control. And the launch control will disable from 2200 RPM as we roll off over 3 kilometers an hour. It disables the launch control and gives you all the full power back again. So that really does help if you want to launch hard off, say, a set of lights. Map 4 and map 5 are identical. The only difference with those two maps is that on map 5 we have the functions with lumpy idle and obviously the launch control that's in there. Again, any of these maps you can switch at any time while you're driving. The next common question we get asked would be cruise control. Does my cruise control still work like normal? And the answer to that is yes. If you activate the cruise control and the cruise control light comes on, now the cruise control works like normal. The only thing is that as you're using cruise control, you can't select your maps. You can't change from map to map unless you disable your cruise control, and then you can switch maps. It's pretty straightforward. There's nothing else to really tell about that. It's very user-friendly for that. If you want to know what map you're in without changing a map, you can literally just flick it up quickly and it'll tell you what map you're on. If you hold it for more than, say, half a second, you'll find it will change to the next map. If you want to rotate through all the maps, say if you want to go from map 5 to map 0, you can just hold it in and it'll just flick through all the maps really quickly, all the way down to Immobilizer and then back up again, however you want to do that. So it's a really user-friendly way of controlling your multi-mapping. Look, if you have any more questions, queries about that, the guys in the office are more than happy to answer any of your questions based around any of this. They have a lot of knowledge, they understand everything that we've done here. So look, give them a call. That's what they're there for, and we can explain anything you need to know.